Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Command Point. My name's Ryan, and today I'm here with Shane.
Hello, hello.
The first existing team that we're going to be taking a look at today is, of course, the Hernkyn Yaegirs, Shane.
Yeah, I'm a big Jaeger fan, so I was really excited to see the new rules. Um, and let me say, I think they are one of the most changed. It's weird because they're not that changed, but they are. They also are kind of. It's like a weird thing where they're very samey, but I think they just got a lot stronger.
Oh,
Honestly,
okay.
I'm kind of
Interesting.
excited to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, where do we want to start, Ryan? Do we want to start with because I think the operatives, for the most part, are pretty similar to what they were before.
hmm So, I mean, that's interesting to hear, given that they were already such a strong team in the previous edition, towards the end of the previous edition, I should say. Let's just go with broad strokes. For somebody who is just getting into Kill Team, let's say, and doesn't already know about the team, let's just do a breakdown here. So I'll start us off with talking about the makeup of the Kill Team, the operatives you can select, as well as the archetypes. So for the Hernkyn Jaegers Kill Team, you still get 10 operatives total. You get 10 operatives total. You get the Hernkyn Jaeger Thane as your leader. And then you can select 9 operatives from the following list: the Bladekin, Bombast, Gunner, Ironbreak, Riflekin, Tracker, and Warrior. And other than Warrior operatives, your kill team can, of course, only include each operative on the list once. For the faction rule, Shane, do you want to talk about the faction rule?
Yeah, so there's two of them. First, we have resourceful, which is basically after the first turn, starting with the second turn, you gain these tokens called resourceful points, determined by how many of your guys are alive and not in engagement range, or I guess I should say control range now, which is basically within 1 inch of enemy operatives. So if you have 6 or more guys that fulfill those conditions, you get 2 points. 3 to 5, you get one. 0 to 2, you get zero. And you also get an extra one from your leader being alive. Um, you can use your resourceful tokens when you activate one of your guys to add one to its APL for that activation, which is fantastic. That's usually what you're going to
Really
use it
good.
for. Yeah. And you can also do it to regain D3 plus 1 lost wounds. I know that might sound way worse. So you might think, why would I do that? Well, the reason you do that is because these tokens go away at the end of the turn. So if you're near the end of the turn, you don't have something to just do 3 APL with, you can just heal your guy. And that's pretty helpful.
hmm
But otherwise, for existing Jaeger players, that's the same as it was pretty much. What's different, there is a huge difference in the other faction rule, Dauntless Explorers.
hmm
So previously, you would pick 3 of your guys in deployment as you deploy to be forward deployed 4 inches forward. The 3 that you picked would have to be on conceal, which now in the current game, everybody starts on conceal and everybody can flip their orders. But those 3 guys before, they would have to be concealed and they wouldn't be allowed to flip their orders, so they couldn't charge or shoot or anything like that. And that was 3 out of your 10 guys. Now, Dauntless Explorers, you do it in the strategic phase. It's still free. You can move each of your 10 guys 4 inches forward. And note in this Dauntless Explorers rule here in the new edition, it doesn't say anything about not being allowed to flip their order, not being allowed to shoot or charge or anything like that. So instead of having 3 guys for deploy and those 3 guys can't really do anything other than grab points, now your whole team can forward deploy and they're allowed to be aggressive. Now, I think in general, turn one is going to be a little bit more passive this edition with no scoring on the first turning point, but still, this is undeniably a massive, massive change.
Yeah, for sure. Allows
And
you to
there's
get up the board a lot quicker.
Yeah, and there's one other change that isn't technically listed as a faction rule, but it kind of might as well be a faction rule. I'm going to talk about the mines really quick from the Iron Break.
Sure.
So as long as you take the Iron Break, you would get to set up 5 of your mines. 3 of them are real, 2 of them are duds. This works the same, What is different is that the mines themselves interact a little bit differently when you trigger them. So before, you would walk over the mine, and the Jaeger player would flip it over and roll a d6. And if it was lower than your armor save characteristic, you would take mortal wounds. In addition, mortal wounds equal to that roll plus 3. Plus, you would always take a flat 3. And if you rolled equal to or higher than the armor save, you just wouldn't take any damage. Now, that still happens, and you're still setting up your mines the same way. You set them up at the, I believe it's in the, I need to make sure this is the same. Um,
To
I believe you set them up at the end of deployment. That's how it was before.
not within control range of enemy. Under the actual minefield text for the Jaeger Iron Break, I don't believe it specifies. Just says you have 5
Yeah,
minefield markers for the battle.
yeah, they're gonna have to.
Set
They're
up
gonna
all
need to clarify
minefield
that.
markers as if they were. Oh, excuse me. Set up all your minefield markers as if they were one item of equipment. So that, of course, happens
Oh,
during
yes.
the setup equipment phase, basically.
Yes. Okay. So you set up your mines the same. They have to be more than 6 inches from uh, your opponent's drop zone. Although now, so yeah, they have to be 6 inches from your opponent's drop zone and your other minefield markers. That's how it was before, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they need to be more
Um,
than 2 from other markers and access points, and 6
yep.
from your opponent's drop
That's
zone and other minefield markers.
yep. So that's the same. But what's different is now when you trigger the mine, you roll the damage, the same as normal. And before you would just keep walking. You take the damage, and if you're alive, you just keep walking. You finish your action. Now you trigger that mine, and if it isn't incapacitated, you end the action, even if you're not done. So if you're moving, the second you move within, I believe it is within control range. So now it's within 1 inch instead of 2 inches. So that's a bit of a difference. Um, but you move within 1 inch of it, and you stop your move and you're done moving, even if you live through the mine. So that is a tremendous difference
Yeah,
from what it was before.
yeah,
I mean, that's way more powerful of an effect if you can actually get them to walk through the mine, which I think you'll be able to get it a lot of times, or at least force them to walk. I mean, now it's before you would see situations where your opponent was like, you know what, I'm just going to eat the mine. I need to get to this objective. I don't care about the damage. Now, the mine will actually stop them
yeah.
from getting to a spot on the board for at least one activation. So that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the three main like overarching changes outside of equipment. And oh, there's one other thing that's not a faction roll, but they move 5 inches now, Ryan. They're not
Yes.
4 inch movement.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so they are
um,
a lot faster team. Obviously, this edition is still being played on the same size board as the previous edition. So overall, the team just got a whole lot faster, especially with that pregame move from Undaunted Explorers.
yeah, yeah, very, very good.
Yeah,
And now that it's a strategic play too, you are like projecting a little bit less where you're forward deploying your guys, I guess, because before
right. Yeah,
you'd set
because
them
you
up
can
for
just
deployment.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now, yeah, it happens after deployment. I guess we can talk about there's a very few operative changes, Ryan.
Sure.
I'm just going to run through them really quick.
Yeah.
For the most part, these guys are the same. Obviously, all the revolvers, like all other pistols now, are 8 inch range instead of 6 inch range. That's just kind of a broad change. Um, the Jaeger gunner, it kind of operates the same, nothing different there. Um, the bombast, I believe, works the same. He's got ceaseless on his pistols instead of lethal, instead of balanced, which is pretty cool. The sniper is different, much like all the other snipers. So it has the concealed version, which is kind of like a regular sniper in the past edition. It's got 4 shots on twos, 3-3, mortal wounds 3, which is now called devastating 3. It's got heavy, which because it doesn't clarify in the new edition, if it says heavy, that just means you can't move and shoot it.
Yep. Full
Whereas the
stop.
mobile version here says heavy reposition. So you can perform a reposition action and shoot it, but you couldn't like move and dash, for instance.
Hmm.
Um, it's got the concealed version has silent, and it has the concealed position rule, which basically means you can only use that profile the first time it performs the shoot action during the battle. So you're basically only silent with your sniper once, and you can't move when you shoot it. So that's a pretty big deal. Um, it's got the stationary profile, which is similar to the concealed one. It's just not silent, I believe, is the only difference. Um, the warriors have a new ability here called Intrepid. So basically, for the warriors, whenever you spend a resourceful point for that guy, you the following take precedence. So if you add one to its APL stat, it lasts until the start of its next activation instead, which is
Oh,
really cool.
that's really cool. Yeah.
So basically, like you get a three APL activation, and then when they're standing on objectives, they count as three until the next turn, basically, when you activate them. And then if you choose to heal them, they just regain 4 instead of rolling D3 plus 1. So I do like what we've done in this edition with having the warriors, like the basic troopers, have special abilities on all the teams now.
Yeah. It gives
Because
you
with
a
a lot of
reason to
teams,
actually run them, or at
yeah.
least give yourself some pause. And
And the nice thing with Jaegers is they don't have enough specialists to not run 3 warriors.
yeah.
So you're probably going to be getting a lot of use out of that. I was using the warriors to be 3 APL quite a lot when I was playing them last edition. So
Hmm.
I'm excited about this update here.
Yeah. Are there any like major updates to their strategic ploys or the firefight like strategic ploys, or excuse me, yeah, the firefight ploys?
So hidden engagement is the exact same. If you're shooting a guy and you're in cover from them, you get balanced. Masterful blade work is the same. Basically, if you're fighting um, or if you have a conceal order and you're retaliating, then you get balanced. That's the same.
Hmm.
Tough survivalist, the damage reduction, that is the same. And I think that's pretty meaningful because it seems like a lot of damage reduction has been nerfed in this edition, just looking at other teams. So to have that ability be the same,
I hate to see that.
yeah.
I hated
And it's
playing this
also
team just because of
it's a
that.
little oh sorry, I was gonna say it's a little better actually. They fixed the wording on it. So now it's the first time an attack dice inflicts damage on them.
Hmm.
It's not the first time you fight or get shot when you would take damage. So now if you fight somebody and kill them because they have like 2 wounds left before they can swing at you,
Uh-huh.
you still get your tough survivalist the next time you take damage. So that's a pretty big buff actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is actually better. The in position ploy is the same. It basically operates as super conceal still. Um, Sturdy is the same. You turn your when you're getting shot at, you turn the attacker's crits into normal successes. Um, Bonds that bind is, I believe, the exact same. It's a GA2 within 3 inches, and you can't do it with the bombast if he did his shoot in the strategic phase. No kin left behind is the exact same. You get a token after a guy dies, and if you shoot or fight within 3 inches of it or retaliate, then you can turn a normal into a crit or a fail into a hit, basically. And stalwart defense is the same. So other tech plays are the same. Stalwart defense lets you overwatch a guy if you're engaged after they charge a guy within 6 inches of you. That's pretty good. Um, Ryan, do you want to talk about their equipment? Because I think equipment's like one of the most interesting things about
Yeah,
all these new
let
teams.
me pull that up here. Oh, come on. We'll take a look at the plasma knives. So, the way equipment works in this edition is a little bit different than the old edition. Actually, it's a lot different. There's no longer like a point system. Um, it's you choose two, I believe, equipment options
Four.
from four of them, from a combination of universal equipment and faction specific equipment. So for faction specific equipments, they have the plasma knives, which are obviously melee weapons, 3 attacks hitting on 4s, damage 3, 5, lethal 5 up.
And everybody gets it on the whole
Hmm.
team.
Yes, that's the big thing with the faction specific equipment. is that whichever option you choose, everyone on your team has it.
Yeah, basically. Sometimes some of them are like you can only use it once per turn, but anybody can
Yeah.
use it.
Mm-hmm.
But like with the knives here, everybody just has a knife now,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
The stabilized bolt shells up to twice per turning point whenever a friendly Jaeger operative is performing the shoot action and you select a bolt shotgun long range, you can use this rule. If you do until the end of the action, improve the hit stat of that weapon by 1 and add 1 to both of its damage characteristics, or both of its damage stats. I believe that's basically identical to how it worked in the old edition, except
Yeah, it was
obviously,
pretty bad then, and I think it's pretty bad now.
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, and then there's the Firestorm bolt shells, which are kind of similar to they were in the old edition. You would have less. So basically, once per turn, when a friendly Jaeger is shooting and you select the short range bolt gun, you can use the Firestorm bolt shells to give your bolt shotgun blast 1 inch. It is a little better now. Before it would you would reduce the normal damage in exchange for getting blast, but now you just get blast. So that's pretty cool on like Into the Dark. It's only once per turn, but maybe that's okay. And then
Yeah.
there's Ryan. There's the KV Ceramide undersuits. Do you want
Mm-hmm.
to read that one?
Yeah, so whenever an operative is shooting a friendly Jaeger operative, if the ranged weapon in that sequence has the blast or torrent weapon rule, you reroll one of your defense dice. In addition, friendly Jaeger operatives aren't affected by the X devastating X weapon rule. So devastating within a certain range, unless they
Yeah, it's
are.
kind of like the.
So it's like
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
you're not taking splash damage
Yeah,
from,
it's like
yeah,
void armor
for the
it's like
breachers.
you give your the breacher void armor.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess we'll do a quick hot take. This isn't like a team review, but as a Jaeger player, I have to share my thoughts here.
Sure.
I think that most of this equipment is kind of bad.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the equipment that a lot of the teams have that I've looked at so far. This one, not so much. I think you would probably always take those plasma knives. But the nice thing about Jaegers is that I think they use some of the universal equipment really well, like taking the mine universal equipment to pair with your three other Hypex mines that you put in the field. Throwing down like
That's
a
pretty
razor
gross.
wire, yeah, like the barbed wire to slow them down too.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have this area that they're like slowed down walking near that they want to walk around, but you're also placing mines everywhere that they want to walk around. And it's like you can just have like these layers of death, and you can throw barricades down too. Like I think Jaegers make use of the universal equipment very well.
Cool. So I think that wraps it up here for our kind of like quick preview of the new Hernkyn Jaeger team. Guys, if you have thoughts on this team, anything that you think that we may have missed, leave a comment down below. Uh, let us know what you guys think of the new team, and stay tuned for more Kill Team videos coming up very soon. Thanks for watching.